Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by The Wellness Paradigm, a holistic health coaching company shifting the way that women understand and heal their bodies. Through bioenergetic testing, functional lab testing, and functional nutrition, we uncover what traditional approaches often overlook. So you can stop guessing and start healing and finally feel like yourself again. No more one size fits all protocols, just real answers, deep rooted healing, and the clarity and confidence you deserve to feel incredible. It's time to shift the paradigm of women's health. Now, on to our show. And good afternoon, Gena.
No,
I'm so happy you're here. And I
me
think
too.
such a lovely conversation all around gratitude and health and all of the things because Gina is a gratitude mentor or guide and intuitive healing mentor and also a mom of six. So she's got a lot of wisdom that she's going to come share with all of you guys. So I'd love for you to explain a little bit more on who you are and how you got into this work.
Um, the simplest answer to that is I've just been through some stuff, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I used to say I'm a professional mom of six. That's all I ever wanted to be was just a mom. So all the things that I took in school and stuff would help me to be a mom, to figure out how to do that. And then I've just been through some stuff that the only way to get through it was to figure out how to either stay stuck, or go through it. And so I learned how to become a mentor to healing by healing myself and healing through a lot of stuff. So it's not that I'm better than anybody else. I've just been through some stuff.
Yep. I
There's
mean,
that song, if you're going through hell, keep on going, and the devil might know, you might get up before the devil even knows you're there. And I just dance along the way.
Yeah. Most of the best coaches have been the ones that have been through some of the hardest stuff,
Yeah.
and they just learned that that's usually how they get into this work, right? Is kind of going through hell and high water and figuring out that certain things work really well and certain things that we thought maybe used to work or should work don't.
Just don't. And I lucked into this coach. Not even sure how we connected, but I had this really great mentor. And years and years ago, and these are just one thing after another. He's like, did it not occur to you that what you're going through right now is going to be somebody else's Bible? Like,
Mm.
what? It's like, I've never seen anybody overcome, get through, do, and just keep climbing on top of whatever comes at you. Did it not occur to you? Well, I didn't start off like I'm not looking to be the best coach or the greatest leader. I'm just not going to stay stuck. And
Mhm.
so, whatever that needs to look like. And again, I'm not going to raise kids. They're going to be stuck. I want you to be positive human beings. I don't care what you do, what your beliefs are. I want you to have a positive impact, whatever you want that to be. And so it was learning how to be positive when the world where stuff was not positive. That was the goal, is how can you just be positive anyway?
Mm.
And that would lead to, I had no idea that it would be, inspirational or anything like that. I was just looking to be positive for my own benefit. And that he's like, what your survival guide will be somebody else's Bible. Well, that's a novel idea. No, I'd never thought of it that way. And so that it was important enough for me to know. And others thought, well, sometimes I keep a journal. It started off trying to be a daily journal and sometimes a meditation journal. But I may have grandchildren or their children that I won't physically meet. And wouldn't they like to know that, hey, I had a bad day. This is what I did on a bad day, 100 years ago. If I was writing a story, would I want it to be a boring story? Oh, I got up and watched TV all day. Will they even know what TV is in 100 years? Or would I wanted a story that was worth reading? Would I want to be the heroine in that story? Or am I just some side character who gets lost after the first chapter?
Yeah. I I'm curious on how much you obviously, want to open up or dive into, but as far as what were some of maybe the most transformative moments for you that really shifted you into this?
Um, as a teenager, I started having health problems,
Mhm.
and they were quirky. Nobody could figure it out. I'd pinch a nerve and be stuck in bed for weeks at a time. Just really weird things. I trip and fall over flat surfaces. My friends would take bets on when I would fall on the ice, and I never won. They did. So I'd be on crutches for months. Just dumb stuff. And then they would get worse. And so high school was not great. And then after high school at 19, I actually found myself pregnant. Grew up in a very religious family, so that was not received very well. And at 18, I put myself in foster care in another city and gave this little girl up for adoption. And so transformatively, I had to decide what was going to be the best outcome. And so not just enough to coast along, enough to get good grades, be average at everything, what was going to be enough. And so I'd done that before. I wanted to play the flute so badly, and my parents couldn't afford that. So it was, how can I find a way to have money at 13 to finance an instrument, to pay for this musical instrument all through school to play this instrument? So, okay, I'm growing a baby. How could I make this the best possible outcome? A, I'm not marrying the dad. B, I'm not giving this to my mother. She was pregnant at the same time, so that was not the best outcome. My father, it did not go over well. And so, okay, that's not how we start off here. So what's going to be the best outcome? So I created her best outcome, created what that was going to look like, made that happen. So here I was giving this baby up for adoption, and then, okay, well, now what? And I gave her the best possible life and then washed my hands of it to walk away so she could have whatever her life needed to be that she could decide, and it wasn't up to me. And then raising my own kids, well, I was told I couldn't have children after that. And I thought, really? Don't tell me what to do. So that was a healing journey. Did that the old-fashioned way, had 5 of my own, and then got to the point where I couldn't tell you what my favorite food was. I was so lost in being somebody's mother, somebody's wife, somebody's something, and just so lost. And had a dream that said, it's time for you to do a rapid amount of change in a short amount of time. Pay attention. Had a huge health scare, and I'd been going through health things one after another, gained 100 pounds, had heart issues, had breathing issues, had, like everything was just worse and worse and worse, and nothing was getting better. And I knew it was inflammation, but it wasn't getting any better. Okay. And then I had a major health thing and had a surgery, and my heart stopped. And so that was a whole nother experience. And after that, it was, okay, I would die for my kids, but I wasn't living for my kids. And so a rapid amount of change in a short amount of time led to dealing through some things that were hard conversations, learning how to look at childhood stuff that wasn't healed properly, learning how to take a look at where things were at. And if you asked me if I would go back in time and take away anything and redo it, one of the things I was fiercely protective was that adoption story. There's no way I would take that away. Look at what came of it. She's this beautiful, amazing woman who has this most amazing life. And I became somebody who knew how to do things. And I would never undo that. And so if I had to go back, would I undo anything else? No. So then what could I become fiercely grateful of in the rest of that story that was just this pile of crap? But where's the gift in the garbage? And so from that, it was, how do we find positivity? Every moment there's something to be grateful for. So what is that? And the least grateful thing, their dad left 5 years ago. He wanted something new and he left. This has been my best friend for 30 years. Like most of my life, we've been connected. And I could not figure out anything. Like I was floored. And so again, another major health thing, another death experience. And it was, are you ready to listen? Are you ready to listen? I'd never been willing to surrender. I'd always held back just a tiny little piece of myself, because if you have to start over, I'd lived in 14 houses before I was 12, always a new school, always a new thing. You always keep a piece of yourself back because you have to start over. So I would never surrender in a relationship, never surrender to anything because you always have to start over. And so I learned to surrender completely. There's a plan for that. And in surrendering completely, I learned how to be grateful for everything. And so it was hard. I literally wrote lines about their father, things I was grateful for about him, and I couldn't repeat myself. And I did this with my kids when they were fighting with each other. They had to sit down on their dots on the carpet and say things they were thankful for. And the boys would get to the point, and they're like, she's going to make us talk about our feelings. Just say thank you. I'm thank you for you. I'm thank you for you. Shake hands and they're done. And so when I say I've been through some stuff, there's a lot there that we can unpack and talk about. But getting to be positive
Mhm.
about the worst things, go to the worst case scenario. So you're stuck in bed, and maybe I'm going to be stuck in bed forever. Okay, if this is the worst possible thing, can I be grateful for the worst possible outcome? Yeah. And then you know what? The worst possible outcome never happens. And the more I practice being thankful for something and truly thankful, I had no money, was broke, welfare lineups, trying to figure out how to take care of kids, but I had no clue what to do. And so I started practicing, and I went back to literally, I wrote lines. I am thankful and grateful for money. And
Mhm.
the money would start to come. But I had to teach my brain it could be thankful and grateful instead of the energy of desperation just sucks the life out of you. But joy, that frequency of joy, that highest vibration, that's where health is. That's where, and the fastest way to get there is gratitude. So guiding people into gratitude literally became, this is how I live my life. If I decide to do a discouragement, it's not me being discouraged. I had to pick to choose to do a discouragement. Then I could choose happy at the same time. And I could choose how to do that. So gratitude was, I would guide you to gratitude. I'm not going to show you how to do anything. I won't take away your opportunity to learn. But boy, if you are done being stuck, have I got some magic for you?
I think people really underestimate the power of gratitude. You
I
know,
just do.
I think, I mean, there's actually been scientific studies in PubMed. I mean, like, for all you nerdy science people like me out there, it's like, about how it literally rewires your brain, how it,
Rewires your brain.
right? And you and I both are into kind of, energy healing, right? And it's like, we know that, but the science to back it up helps validate too that like there's literally something going on. Your brain changes and your whole being changes. Your whole aura changes.
Changes.
And but I think so many
Mm,
people are stuck in this low vibrational victim mentality, don't even realize it though, because that's like what they've lived. And
just get stuck.
yeah,
So trauma rewires your brain.
it does.
And so, having had trauma multiple times over and over and over again, you learn that it knocks you out of sync.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to do familiar things in an unfamiliar way. And trauma is the same way. So all that emotional trauma, I didn't know that I was living in for
Yes.
decades. I had no idea that there was a cycle that kept my body in that fight and flight mode, that it was one disaster after another so that somebody could come in and pick up the pieces. I had no idea that I hadn't learned how to breathe properly, that I'm always holding my breath and what that's doing to your health. You don't know how to swallow properly, you don't know how to breathe properly, like just simple things. And so that trauma alone would take years of therapy and years of doing. I went, or not.
Mhm.
Like, what if it didn't? And so gratitude, like they do studies on the frequency of disease. You want to know what cancer is? It's the lowest possible frequency you can get to. The next one is death, which is no frequency. And so there are scientific studies they do about frequency and the frequency of what light therapy can do to that. So get out in the sunlight and guess what happens to gratitude when you're in the sunlight? Like just these simple things. It seems so simple. It couldn't possibly be true.
Mhm.
And the simplest thing is the most magical thing of all. And what people miss is that they have that magic and they're missing that magic. It's already there. They're looking for the pill, the patch, the I know I did. The powder, the cream, and the missing part was just I'm so grateful and thankful for the opportunity to grow. And I remember the very beginning of this 5-year thing. I'm journaling and I'm writing and I'm listening to, Spirit wake me up in the middle of the night. I'm listening to this music or reading this thing and really rewiring. And I'm writing down, I'm so grateful and thankful for these opportunities to grow. And I literally could feel this emotional swack up my head. And here this says opportunity. It's singular. It's not plural. Stop signing up for more. Oh, it's one at a time. Like, oh, right. I'm trying to do steps 10, 11, and 12. It's doing step one. Prepare for step two. Do the next step. It's only the next step. And when you're only doing the next step, all of a sudden, oh, that's not so heavy. That's not so hard. I just have to do one more thing. So I can do one more thing. That's okay. I can do one more thing. And pretty soon that one more thing goes, oh, look, I've done all the things. And so the life that I live now is the life I dreamed. I wished I could have this life. I dreamed I could live paycheck to paycheck. Check, did that. I dreamed I could have the room I love. I dreamed I could wear cute little dresses. I dreamed I could have pretty jewelry. And I couldn't believe it could happen. And gratitude got it all. So being grateful and thankful for this, then grateful and thankful for that, and teaching myself that I wasn't getting to repeat things. So it didn't mean that I didn't mean it. It meant that I meant it today. Now, what's the next thing? And so I got to teach myself next, next. I remember the first time I was never going to come home. And it wasn't a bad day. It wasn't like there was a trigger or I didn't bully. I mean, that happened too. But it wasn't, I just got up that day and decided today was my last day. It was a beautiful sunny autumn day and that was okay. And I was done. And I closed my locker and there was this guy on the other side of my locker and he scared the crap out of me. But he walked me home every day for 3 weeks. And then I was done and he went on his way. I don't know, no idea why. But he just decided he needed to walk me home from school. He lived the other side of town and he walked me home from school and would talk with me for an hour and then go home. And he said to me once, the secret is there's always another tomorrow. Like no matter how dark the night, there's always another tomorrow. The secret is you have to be around to see it. And that stuck with me. And so when I had girls going through suicidal stuff and self-harm, and I'm reliving my own self-harm and watching it happen again, I'm going to break this cycle. Oh, wait a minute. I know a secret. It doesn't matter how dark the night is. If we have to count seconds into minutes and minutes into hours, and hour after hour, the sun always comes up. You just have to be around to see it. And so that allowed me to survive that. It allowed me to teach it to them so they could survive. So I have these adult children, like we got all of them to adulthood, and it was really hard work, who can thrive because we learned how to be grateful even in the dark. And so it matters. It matters so much to be able to say, I'm grateful and thankful for an opportunity to grow. It's the curriculum.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I mean, beautiful too, that somehow there's whatever you want to call it, your little guardian angel or somebody, can have such the words we can also bestow on people are so impactful. Like that one line changed the trajectory for so much.
For so much.
And same with you, like your words are powerful and you don't have to say even a lot in order to impact so many other people too, which is another beautiful thing that you do. So when you speak of gratitude, everyone has their own kind of quotation gratitude practices per se, or gratitude, ways of expressing gratitude. I know some people are like, oh yeah, I'm grateful for my day, maybe just thinking it, which is powerful. But do you have specific things that you do or practices you have found that have worked really well for you or other people around, targeting this more?
Yeah, I like to think of it like a garden. And so if I was going to do a garden, I would love to have a beautiful garden full of wildflowers. And so for that garden to grow, I really had to dig pretty deep to get out some weeds. I didn't have very good soil. And so doing all that healing work meant that I could fertilize the soil. And some people have a journey where, the trajectory is straight. My trajectory is not that way because I'm walking around picking up flowers. The end of the journey, though, I'm going to show up with this giant bouquet of flowers for all the experiences that I had and the people that I met along the way. My garden's the same way. I had to water the flowers. And so I get specific about what I'm grateful for, just like I'd be specific. So I love the color that's in the sunrise and the sunset. Right at that exact moment as the sun hits the horizon, there's this color of pink. It's not coral, it's not baby pink, it's this perfect sunfire color. And wherever I look, that right color will show up. And so in my garden, I would have a rose that's that color. It's this beautiful color. And so I could talk about how I'm grateful for all of the details of that flower because it brings me joy. And so when we're talking about gratitude, we're looking for the bliss and the joy. So what were you grateful for? I love chocolate. I love really good, rich chocolate. It is so good for you. The way it feels on my tongue, the way it smells, the way it tastes, the way it oozes down my throat, the way it just makes me feel happy all over. So if I'm going to be grateful for it, I'm going to involve all my senses, all 6, 7 senses. And I'm going to go really deep into that. Where can I find all of the joy so that I get all the joy possible out of that gratitude and not leave any of it behind? And when I'm doing gratitude, it's not just, oh yeah, I'm grateful for my day. Where was the moment? Where's something very specific that when I ignite it, it ignites in here and it blooms. And so what's that for you? Where's that bloom like a flower? Have we got a little tiny bud that hasn't opened up yet? Have you got a plant that hasn't learned how to flower yet? Have you got something that's got an old flower on and doesn't think it can flower again? My favorite flower is a daisy. It always looks like sunshine.
Mhm.
And the poster I had in my room was this bouquet of red roses and a daisy in the middle of it that said, be your own kind of beautiful. So
Wow.
that brings me joy. And when I look around, you find daisies all over. And then, oh, there's my joy. And so I can count the daisies. I love butterflies. Where did I see a butterfly today? If you look around my house, you'll find little butterflies all over because they make people smile. And so it really is, how deep can you get that gratitude? And you may have to go pretty deep if you haven't felt it for a while. I had to go pretty deep before I could find it where it would spark something and I could feel it. And oftentimes that feeling was pretty deep before I could find that spark where the light is. And so now it's not so hard to find the light where the gratitude goes, bing,
Mhm.
and I love the smile that it brings. And so I know that I hit a gratitude point when you see it in my smile. So I like other people to have that experience. So unless you've gone deep enough that it showed up in your eyes, you didn't find a gratitude. You just count on thank yous and you got to count them deeper. So we count more thank yous until we find one. I was counting 200 or 300 thank yous before I actually got to a gratitude because it was so far away and so hard. And it seemed too dark because I just decided it was until I decided it wasn't and surrendered. It's not so dark after all.
Surrender's a big one, and this isn't interesting because I don't think we know how to. We hear the word,
Yeah.
but embodying the word is very different and very scary in a world where many people over control everything and don't understand that that control is also leading them. I mean, for the purposes of the podcast, to health issues, right? Relationship issues, so so many different issues.
So many things.
You know, um, but maybe just briefly explaining like what does surrender? How does one feel that, embody that, know that they're kind of embracing that?
This is a very good question because, wow, I is the epitome of a control freak. Like we are OCD. I
Mhm.
had a new baby. I kept him in his chair for 6 hours while I cleaned the floor because it was not good enough. Uh, how fast do you think you can sustain that? And then you get another baby, and then there's three of them, and there's no way that's happening.
Mhm.
So getting overrun, outnumbered, meant I couldn't maintain that. So something had to change. And what changed was my health. And it went downhill, and I did not listen.
No.
So surrendering looked like um, there's actually a plan for that. Every little thing there's a plan for. So if there's already a plan for it, what the heck am I doing? Coming up with my own plan? Right, because I can reinvent a wheel. The round wheel works perfectly fine. So learning to know there was already a plan for that. And then I could practice getting out of the way. So stop trying to muddle it up. There's a poem. And it's an Irish poem, and I heard it. And here it's coming back. My life is but a weaving between my God and me. I let him choose the colors, he worketh steadily. At times he worketh sorrow, and I within my heart forget he sees the pattern while I see only part. The dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as the threads of gold and silver in the pattern he has planned. Not till the loom is silent and the shuttles cease to fly shall God unroll the canvas and explain the reason why. And then the canvas unrolls and you see the heavens, and it's all these stars and a dark sky. So you need the dark sky or you can't see the stars. And so in order for a light to shine, it's got to be in the dark. So we have to have trials and struggles and stuff so that we learn how to shine our light. And if you know that the canvas is going to be the heavens and the stars, and you're the stars, there's a plan for that. And so surrender means I let go. There's a plan for that. Do I need to know what the plan is? I actually don't. And I thought I did. I thought I had to do the how before I could do the do. And my daughter, who has, she fights these hidden battles that nobody has any idea of, and turned to me and she says, oh, I get it. She's like, some people are given mountains to climb. She's like, but I was given a mountain to move. Even if it's one rock at a time, I can move a mountain to show people that mountains can be moved. So she moves mountains. Okie dokie. That's some surrender. I can't change what's already happened. I can't go back and undo it or I wouldn't be who I am. The future hasn't been written yet, so I have no control over that. The only thing that I get is this second, this moment. Oh, and that one's gone. And so all I've got is today. And there's a plan for that. And so surrender means I let gratitude accept the plan. And in gratitude, there's joy, there's happiness, and has nothing to do with how. There's a plan for that. And so it is a level of peace I could not ever imagine. Like it is deep into my soul. It is my roots. So when I look at that, I have children who had roots to grow and wings to fly. And my own wings that I hadn't even realized. A butterfly can't see its own wings. It needs other people to see their wings. So surrendering is beautiful. And if you haven't gotten the joy and the peace and the beauty, you have not surrendered. And I did not surrender for a very long time. It was yes, but, yes, but. And so when there were no more yes, buts left, no more yes, but, I had surrendered. And oddly enough, here's this health, here's this body clutter is evaporating, but this light is coming, and this health is. I met with my pulmonologist maybe a month ago, and he walked in and he comes in and he shakes my hand. He's like, I don't even recognize you. He's like, who are you? Who even are you? He's like, he's like, your numbers are off the charts. The other direction. He's like, I've never seen this. I've never seen this for you. I've never. He's like, He's like, you're working hard. This is amazing. It's incredible. And wow, who even are you? And so, if you asked yourself, who even are you? I'd asked myself, who could the best version of me be? And the best version of me was surrendering.
So powerful. Just such good stuff. Such good stuff. And such a simple concept that yet is so
Missed.
impactful and missed. Yes. If people wanted to connect more with kind of the work you do around all this, or just learn more about you, where can they connect with you more on this?
Instagram. Instagram, I'm on there, and Threads. It look for Gena Smiling. that that accidentally became our brand.
That's your website too, isn't it?
It is. It was genasmiling.com. And it was accidental. My kid set up an email years ago. And so it became the brand, and it became my way of knowing if I'd found my way.
Mm,
Was there a smile? Was it this
mm.
or the grimace, or was it actually smile? And do you know how silver is made? I love silver. I think it's really pretty. I mean, gold is gold, but I love silver and the platinum, just that really shiny silver where you can see your reflection in it. In order for silver to be made, it has to go into the hottest fire because silver is full of impurities, the ore that you pull out of the ground. It looks nothing like the finished product. And so it has to go through the fire over and over and over again because the fire will bring up impurities and has to burn them off. And so the smith has to continually put the silver back into the fire and get the fire hotter and hotter to bring the impurities out of the ore. Way more so than gold. Gold you melt down and you're done, but silver has to be worked repeatedly and over the fire has to get hotter and hotter. And the silversmith knows he's done when he can see his reflection in the ore that he pulls out. And so you have to go into the fire to have the impurities burned out, to have that light that will shine in silver. So
Mm.
that you get the gratitude by going into the fire. If you avoid the fire, you don't get the gratitude. And so being willing to have those hard conversations, being willing to feel the pain and do the work that comes from that on the other side of that is this gratitude. And it becomes the result of the silversmith and the reflection and the light. And so my smile came out when I was willing to have the hard conversations with myself, to do that honest stuff, to look at the things that nobody wants to admit, the embarrassing things they've done, the horrible, awful, terrible things, mistakes. Like I did not get parenting right. Um, and again, we use, but did you die? No, nobody's dead. So if nobody's dead, that's actually a win because we could be dead. And there wasn't anything harder than being dead. At dead, you don't get to do anything. So, but did you die? That means there's an opportunity to try again. So maybe it didn't work, it didn't go the way you planned, but did you die? So then we can try again. And until the end is over, you can try again. So do I get this right all the time? um, I get to practice this gratitude thing because I'm choosing to continue to evolve. And so my garden gets to keep growing. It gets to have new seasons. I get to pull out new weeds. I get to find new things. Some of them are going to hurt. They're going to be thorns. Um, Roses come with thorns so that we learn to appreciate their beauty. But sometimes thorn comes with roses so that we learn to appreciate the beauty too. It protects the roses. And so there's a plan for that. Thistles are beautiful. Thistles make beautiful pickles. There's a plan for that. And so there's literally a plan for everything. Because there's a plan for everything, I got to worry about nothing. And then there's so much room for gratitude. And the more gratitude I found, the more expanse there was on this peace and this joy and this light and this health, because I could hold this frequency. It wasn't like I had this sieve full of holes. I'm trying to hold things and the sand's running through my fingers because my gratitude got stronger. I got stronger.
Oh,
Just this one little thing.
so beautiful. So beautiful. I feel like this needs to be a book. I think you get that a lot. But
I have a handwritten book. We're figuring out how to get that handwritten. I have to get somebody who can read my writing, and AI doesn't like my handwriting.
fair enough.
So we're working on that part. I have a handwritten book, and it was a lot of that first day one. And so it was the first 300 days, first 400 days. How many things could I be thankful for? And I would get to a point where I would recognize that exercise was complete. Like, okay. And if I practiced, I lived like I believed it was possible. Maybe it wasn't there yet, but I lived like I believed it was possible. And if I lived that way, then I would never give up the ground that I already had. I would never let go of the faith I already had. I would never let anyone walk rent free. and it could build like a puzzle with gratitude. It would be another piece and another piece, more hard work, another piece, more fire, another piece. And it's just this beautiful experience to live here. But oh, what the next 5 years, the next year, like I already have all the things I dreamt I wanted are here. So you just get to keep dreaming. You don't have to stop dreaming. Um, what a beautiful thing to continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate your time and all the beautiful, beautiful words that you shared with all of us. And definitely go, follow her, shoot her a DM if you found this helpful. I'm sure she would love to hear it. And listeners, thank you. Make sure to send this if you feel like it would
Thank you.
hurt somebody that you know. And we will catch you guys on the next show. Thank you, Gena, again.
It was lovely.